Hi, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, it's the New York Toy Fair this weekend, apparently, so we've had a bunch of toy pictures, flooding our feeds, and I had to comment on the Fright Zone from Mattel and the new Star Trek line from Nacelle. But there are a couple little oddities which I had to comment on, which I thought were interesting. One is NECA is doing a 50th anniversary Jaws figure slash game, because there was this game, apparently you would have all this stuff in the shark's mouth, and you had like a little fishing rod, and you'd have to pull things out of the shark's mouth without it snapping closed. That was apparently a game in the 70s. So what they did was they made the figure, this which is basically just a big lump of plastic. Like, what can a shark really do aside from its mouth open and close? Apparently they've got the mouth is like spring loaded and triggered and that, and you fill the mouth up with the same sort of stuff that was in the game, and you get a fishing rod, and if you can pull it out without triggering the mouth to close, you win. So it's like a toy and a game. It's like a toy with a bunch of accessories, like things that might have swallowed or whatever. Like, they actually cut the shark open in the movie. One of the sharks open and pull a bunch of stuff out. So I guess it's like a shark toy with accessories that's also a game. So that's cute. I mean, I don't want to upset my Bruce over here, because is he in the shot? He's next to Laura, isn't he? Yeah, you can see him. I can't see from what I'm looking at, it's so small. But yeah, I've got a Bruce who is very temperamental, and I think he's a bit upset that there's going to be a bigger Bruce. I'm like, but you're still baby Bruce, so it's okay. Like, I'm going to get the other Bruce. He's going to have to deal with having a big brother, but he'll be baby Bruce, and that'll be big Bruce. So, looking forward to that. The other thing was the Macfarlane line, because everyone's now, well, is Macfarlane dead? Because they've lost the DC contract and Mattel's got it back, and not looking forward to Mattel's stuff because most of it was crap. Towards the end, apparently the line got good, but I had given up on looking. I just would see there'd be cheap retail stuff whenever a movie came out that didn't really look like the figures, and they were just like generic. Didn't pay for the license, the likeness of the actress or anything, and I never really liked them. I got a few just to have a figure of that character in a few times, like loose ones for cheap, but that's it. So, but now Macfarlane's been doing other ones, and some of them are interesting. And apparently they're doing a Super Friends line, because they did the animated Batman, which they sort of reworked and recolored the 66 Batman figures. And this one they've got a Batman with a different like head slash cowl, but basically the same figure they did. But then now they've got Sinestro, whatever his name is, and the Riddler with the sort of, it looks like the Riddler from the Super Friends, and Lex Luthor and that. So these are still going to be produced. And Green Lantern, he looks really good. He's really nice and bright green. So I'm looking forward to those. And I can't believe I've been talking for 6 minutes. It's supposed to be a short video. Oh no, it's only 3 minutes. That's good. I thought I have not been talking that long. Great. Because the Super Friends ones, I remember the cartoon, and I tried to watch it as an adult, and it was made for kids. A lot of cartoons were made for the whole family, so you can watch them as an adult. As you grow up, you can still enjoy them. Super Friends, I didn't really reconnect with it, but I loved the figures, and I loved that Macfarlane was doing the Kenner size ones for the superpowers. And Super Friends, I sort of associate them, of course, and the idea of doing a Super Friends line in the 6-inch scale that goes along with the animated series and the 66 series is really cool. And I like the fact they've done a new sculpt for the head, and the Green Lantern, like I said, it looks really nice and bright and green, because the Macfarlane reissue, sort of redo version of the 80s one was kind of dull. And the black Green Lantern, I've forgotten his name, his green was really bright, and I'm like, shouldn't they all be the same green? And I want a nice bright green, not a dull green. So this looks really good, the toy. So I might get these, because I have most of the Kenner ones, some of the Kenner ones, and then some of the reissued ones. So the idea of doing, getting 6-inch versions of them as well is pretty cool. And I do like the Batman, because I wasn't really taken with the sculpt the first time for the Batman animated one, because they kind of look the same, the animated Batman and the Super Friends Batman, but they are different, so it is a different sculpt. It looks much nicer, because some of the Batman and Superman, they don't look very nice. Like the head sculpts, their faces, they're kind of ugly. They're kind of angry looking, and I don't remember them being like that in the comics and in the cartoons and that. But they seem to have trouble making these head sculpts into real sort of heads. So I think they've done a good job with that Batman. I didn't like the animated Batman of like Yeah, it kind of looks like anime Batman, but he had too much jaw, and his face was too sort of. They give them these big giant chins and jaws. I'm like, okay, but this looks interesting. So I'm glad they're doing that, and I'm glad they're doing a Bruce, and there's going to be a whole bunch of other things, I guess, that crops up from the fair that's going to just show up in my feed. But I'm trying to keep my collections to just superpowers, super friends, superheroes, basically. Transformers, He-Man, Thundercats, Ghostbusters. Just keep them to the classic 80s stuff and try not to go too crazy because, yeah, it can get a bit much. The time I spend finding these things and actually ordering them and stuff, like I've been all day just chasing a couple of things on eBay, and it's like, you have to finish this today. This cannot continue into Monday and into next week. You have to finalise this purchase and move on. But yeah, there'll be some new things to get, but it's good. There's always something to look forward to collecting, so it's good. You're never really going to finish, which is good.